Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. This is Mr. Basil here, twitching from his house, with my pal Myra down here joining in. Isn't that right, Myra? We're going to do some gaming together and some learning at the same time. So we're playing Kerbal Space Program here. We're going to be going to space. I'm going to show you how to launch a rocket and how to actually enter into orbital trajectory. This here is a pretty simple rocket that I put together. We've actually got 3 stages on it. You'll notice the main booster here, or main engine here, 2 boosters, and there's actually a booster right down here that this is going to be our last little stage at the end to get us into orbital insertion. We're flying with Valentina here. She's going to be our pilot, and we're going to be launching to space. While we're waiting for this to load, I just want to remind you that this video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends RPG strategy game. Raid Shadow Legends is a mobile turn-based battle MMORPG. Try it out. Just use coupon code Mr. Basil's Awesome at your checkout for 50% off. All right, here we are. We're ready to launch. We can see Valentina just below us here. We can see her view hanging out, looking up at space. Here we go, ready to launch. So first things first is I'm going to launch. All 3 engines are going to go off together. It's going to be a nice long launch. We're going to have a pretty good view here. You can see we're in the atmosphere, blue sky, beautiful sun above us. We're going straight up here just to get out of the atmosphere as fast as we can. 3 engines are just going to boost us fast, accelerate quickly. G-forces we're recording are about 2 G-forces. On this fake planet Kerbin. It's not a whole lot. Just flying past a cloud there. We got the moon in the sky. Beautiful island. Almost out of fuel here on our boosters, on our side engines. Once those are out, we can drop them. That looks like 3, 2, 1. Engine off. Let those go. Now you can see we're just above the atmosphere. We got a black sky above us. We see the sun. We're going to turn horizontal. We're going to start trying to pump as much horizontal velocity as we can. Right now, if I look at the map, this is the map here. You can see our trajectory. We're going to get up to about 70 kilometers here and land quite far down range. That's just going completely horizontal. So the faster we go, our orbital speed is increasing. The faster we go, the wider our orbit becomes. Right now, if I turn my engine off, I've got a ballistic trajectory up and then right back down, crash landing into the water. And so we want to keep this going as fast as we can. While we're waiting for orbital insertion, I just want to send a shout out to Joel. Thanks for subscribing. All you out there, you can like and subscribe as well. We're hitting 1,000 meters per second, 1 kilometer per second. Not quite enough to get into orbit, but we are heading to space. So we're just about to break out of the atmosphere. Just a little bit of atmosphere here until we actually get out of the atmosphere's drag. All right, we're approaching 1,400 meters per second. You can see we're getting quite a bit further down range, and it's all about that horizontal velocity. At this point here, we've probably only got a few, about 30 seconds or so left on our main engine, and we're getting real close to getting a circularized orbit. Notice that it's peaking at about 100 kilometers there. We're just dropping down our engine here in about 3, 2, 1 meters per second, and we got no more fuel left. So I'm going to drop that off. I'm going to leave that behind, turn on my next engine, and blast away from that. You actually see I just got enough fuel to actually get into orbit. Right now we're going to peak up to about 400 meters, but it's actually going to drop back down to 52 kilometers. So from 400 to 52 kilometers, not quite enough to actually get into orbit. So what I want to do, I'm actually going to fast forward it because we have video game magic here. We're going to fast forward to the peak of our orbit. By the way, the highest point you get is the apoapsis. The lowest you get is called the periapsis. So you can see AP and PE here as labels onto that. So now we're approaching this. Fast forward means we're going to be there pretty quick, but technically it's a minute or so away. Here we want to circularize, and so I'm looking at the North Pole down now. As I accelerate, we're going to see the periapsis rise. And if I continue to accelerate, the periapsis is actually going to become the apoapsis as that becomes the highest point. So let's do that. I'm in the dark side now, by the way, so you can't really see this too well, but I'm going to turn the engine on. We can see the periapsis is rising. We're at 150, 200 kilometers here. Notice the apoapsis is already starting to swing around, and then now I'm circularized. That's a circle orbit. It's not perfect. We got 450 kilometers to 350 kilometers, but if we're just trying to get into space, that's good enough for us. Going right back to the apoapsis here for the next experiment. So you can see here we're back at the sun. We got nice bright view of the planet Kerbin. I can point prograde. You can see the ball down here. Little arrow says prograde, which is forward. That's the direction I'm going. I'm going left to right now. If I point prograde and turn on my engine, you can see we're at the apoapsis. That raises the periapsis. So give a little bit of energy. We raise that now, and so we actually have changed our periapsis to apoapsis again. If I point retrograde, I spin around. Now I'm pointing backwards. What that does is that brings the circle down. If I point, so that's forward and backwards, I can also point left and right. So again, I'm moving from the left of the screen to the right of the screen. If I point up, that is called the normal vector, normal because it's towards the north. And you have an anti-normal that is opposite the north. Really, it's a reference to the direction of our orbit here. If we blast our engines here, let's do it at our normal. So if we blast normal, the normal vector is actually going to rotate the, basically give it inclination to the orbit. So we're heading more closer to the North Pole. If I go anti-normal, spin around, we're going to bring the direction of that back down towards the South Pole. If I point radially, so radially is going to be away from the planet, radially out, or radially in towards the planet. So pointing your rockets down towards the planet is never a good idea, because what happens here is if I blast, you can see it's sucking it in, and it's actually increasing the apoapsis at 90 degrees away. It's kind of the same effect as that spinning wheel that we had. If I spin radially out, now we're pointing up, that's actually going to raise where we're going here, raising it up that way. So if I continue this, it's actually going to completely rotate that orbit around until the apoapsis or the periapsis hits the Earth respectively. So I could just keep pushing this, keep pushing this, keep pushing this, and notice how that's getting closer. I'm just kind of rocking my orbit around. So you never really want to do this. All right, so that's kind of in space. If I want to go to the moon, for example, here's the moon here. We don't have time for that, but I can just point my rocket. Honestly, in simple physics, we can actually see the moon here. Actually, this is perfect timing because if you want to go to the moon, you actually wait until it's just rising over the horizon, and then you basically point your engine towards it and go. If I point my engine towards it and go, I'm blasting out here basically towards the top of my screen. But what that will do is raise my orbit down towards kind of the bottom of the left of the screen. And as it rises towards the left of the screen, the moon and my ship will actually meet. Unfortunately, I don't have enough fuel right now to get to the moon. I don't think so, because I was just messing around with some things. But you can see that rises the apoapsis up until it reaches the moon. I don't know if there's actually going to be a close encounter, because I've just been playing around with my velocity vectors quite a bit. Continuing. Part of the reason why we're not hitting there is I hit it a bit too soon. So the moon's going to make it about over here. So if I actually do radially, I can rock that orbit, like I said, rock it this way. I can start moving that forwards or backwards. So that's kind of how you control an orbit. So I think this has been long enough. So I'm going to fast forward up to my apoapsis. I'm not actually going to collide in the moon, but I'll show you the ride. We kind of ripping really close to the moon. We're coming near it. The moon just moves out of the way, kind of dodges my orbit here. As we go past it, you can see we're actually just flinging further away from the planet. At a certain point at the top of the orbit, we're going to be furthest away. I'm going to, at this point, turn myself retrograde, point my engines backwards. I'm going to slow myself down. And remember, if you have no velocity, you fall straight towards the Earth. So if I give myself a little bit of retrograde engine here, you can see way down here. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I've got a moon encounter. That's why I'm messing things up. So I'm actually going to swing by the moon again. As I bring it down lower and lower, actually, here's something's happening. Oh, that was a weird thing. So as now I've kind of intercepted the planet. If I take that, we're basically just skimming the surface of the ocean. We're actually going to crash. Notice that it's within the sphere of the planet. So I'm actually going to crash into the planet. If I accelerate a little bit, I'm going to kick myself out. And I want to hit it about maybe 45 kilometers. That'll be high enough that I'll actually hit the atmosphere and not crash into the planet, and I can return safely. Let's see what's happening here. Look at this, coming in towards the planet. And as I hit that atmosphere, I'm going to slow myself down. Let's see if I can do this without killing everyone on board. I'm just blasting my engine to slow myself down. I'm going to detach. And here, we're slowing down. We've got plasma streams as we go. Mara, are you excited for coming back to Earth? Yeah, you're excited, aren't you? And there we go. We're slowing down quite a bit. Coming over the desert. And that's how you go to space, go to the moon, and return. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. If you don't forget to leave a comment if you liked our show. If you have any, if you want to subscribe, you can click the doobly-doo up here. If you want to, I don't know, what other things do you do? Hit the like button, smash that like. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos. See you on the flip side.